champ.
Morning, Mr. Chump.
How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Listen, I want to start campaigning for safety in organized sports.
Really?
I think you have a real problem in the NFL.
What's the matter?
Somebody has to do something about Jimmy Johnson's hair. Because if the Cowboys win and like Emmitt Smith jumps on him and hugs him,
Right.
he could cut himself on that razor-sharp edge across the coach's forehead.
Good point.
And if Jim Kelly vomits in the huddle, somebody could slip and fall and pull out their back.
Right.
Football's dangerous enough. We don't need the extra hair and hurl hazards.
No.
I'm getting concerned, especially now that figure skating has become a contact sport.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what?
What?
Tanya Harding might be coming to visit.
What?
And like sleep over. For like a couple of years.
Oh, I get it.
I feel bad for her.
Right.
I actually feel some kind of kinship with her. We have a lot in common. I know you're thinking, how does a 250-pound African-American pugilist have anything in common with a diminutive female Caucasian ice skater?
I was thinking that. Yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised. First of all, we are both misguided youths from underprivileged backgrounds who tried to raise themselves out of their oppressive environments and make a difference with their lives by excelling in the world of competitive sports.
Right.
We both like to have a little drink every once in a while. We both tend to threaten other drivers when we're behind the wheel. We both slept with people who also ended up screwing us in a figurative sense.
Yeah.
And we both like to hit motherfuckers. But when I do it, I do it. And it ain't in the knee, it's in the face. Although they usually fall to the floor and go, why, too? I think she's being railroaded.
Really?
It's not fair. If this was hockey, she wouldn't have even got a penalty. I love her. She is my idol.
Right.
She's one tough little hottie.
Yeah.
She get behind a school bus driver who don't want to make a right on bridge. She smacked the bitch upside the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid what would happen if she had to go to trial. I don't think she's prepared. She'd give a testimony and then look to the judge and expect him to hold up a card that said 9.5 on it.
Bill Maher send you that joke? Did Bill Maher send you that joke?
No, why?
I just wondered. Please continue.
This Jeff Gillooly, he's like Robin and Desiree rolled into one. He's slimy and backstabbing like Robin,
Right.
and he's got a mustache like Desiree. He's rolling over to cop a plea bargain.
Right.
I wish he was in here. I'd make him roll over, and he'd be pleading for a cop because he'd get more than he bargained for.
Well, so what are we going to do? What is going to be our position on the Tanya Harding deal here on the Imus Winning program?
Well, you set the policy here.
I know, but I need guidance.
You need input?
Yeah.
She's a hideous little trailer park skank, and I just...
That's lovely.
and I somehow, my heart goes out to her.
Got a kinship going, don't you,
Yeah.
man?
So, because she didn't have a chance to get on the Wheaties box from day one.
Yeah.
If she hadn't done any of this.
America's Anchorman and my friend Dan Rather. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Imus.
Maybe you'll want to get in on this pool we have. It only costs $10, and you just have to pick the over-under on how many brothers we think will show up, or sisters, claiming to be related to the president by January 1st.
Put me in for 10.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
We had Connie Chung on here a couple of times, and
You got me in a lot of trouble.
how did I get you in trouble?
Well, I had said to her, she said, I'm going to be on with Imus. I said, oh, that's great. He's a great guy. You'll love it. He loves you. She hasn't spoken to me since.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
In the morning, 2020 sports.
Thank you, I-Man. A couple of exciting finishes out on the West Coast last night.
Of the day with Imus in Washington's senior political analyst, Richard M. Nixon.
Yes, and thank you very much, as per usual. United States. Just my luck, probably not.
Good morning, Senator D'Amato.
Hi, big guy. How you doing?
Old high big guy me, Senator. Still think Les Athen ought to resign?
Oh, he said this when questions that Senator D'Amato asked for your resignation. He said, well, that's politics. He's the political prostitute in the situation, and he should be thrown right out on his ass. Well, I mean, and then he said, oh, well, I got paid to make that decision, and had I known what would have happened. Well, you jackass. What do you think they asked you for 4 tanks for?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
So, what are you going to do with $1 million you raised, by the way?
Well, we'll go out for dinner, and we set up a needy Italian family fund. Sometimes we have to take care of our old age. Prudent planning, you know.
Sports Radio 66.
the Super Bowl.
All right. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, that's exactly what you want to hear from quarterback Jim Kelly about an hour before game time on Super Bowl Sunday.
You want to explain this?
Yeah, because when Kelly pukes his guts up...
Can't we just say something else? That's a hideous word. Kelly. Yeah.
The Bills usually win.
Russ's Sports, sponsored by the Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer, Russ Salzberg, in for Mike Breen. Please continue.
Thank you. Well, as I was saying, when Kelly barfs his guts up, the Bills usually win. So maybe we can send a picture of the Iron Man to ensure that he hurls up his cookies. All right. Some exciting finishes out on the West Coast last night. Captain...
Having with the affiliate WLNI-FM in Lynchburg, Virginia, still having satellite problems. So they're not on the air yet. That's where Jerry Falwell's headquarters are. Till 8, actually. 10 till 8. I'm in the morning.
Imus in the morning.
Media frenzy swirling around United States figure skating has placed this veteran reporter in an unpleasant position, one that I haven't experienced since a fateful day, now years past, when I was forced to put aside ethical considerations and speak out in opposition to a ruinous war in Southeast Asia. Now, duty as I see it demands that I breach those ethical bounds once again. It took nearly 3 weeks, but Tanya Harding has made an expression of sympathy toward her injured figure skating rival, Nancy Kerrigan. It was the first sympathetic comment Harding has made about Kerrigan's injury since Nancy was viciously clubbed January 6th in Detroit. Until now, Harding rejected any question about how she felt with an icy, "I don't have anything to say about Nancy Kerrigan." Finally, she has bowed to tremendous media and public pressure. And I say, it's a rotten shame. Because speaking for myself, though I'd imagine for a lot of you as well, I am up to here with goody-goody Kerrigans. Figure skating Tinkerbells spinning like Waterford waifs across the rink toward their 15 minutes on the waiting spots. Fancy Nancy in her spangled bodice and pansy is about as representative of real America as Marla Trump would be of Bangladesh. Now, if we truly want to send to the Olympics an icon who represents the backbone of this country, then who better than a chunky 5'2" chain-smoking divorcee out of a trailer park who, when asked what winning gold at Lillehammer would mean to her, snapped, "Money." Enough already with diet-conscious ditches gliding over the ice for the sake of art. Art. Give this revered old combat correspondent a competitor who's a former latchkey kid, who spends her off hours with her butt cheeks hanging off a lumber country saloon stool nursing a Bushmills and figuring out just what it's going to take to nail down a condo in Boca Raton and a Mercedes-Benz. Well, I'll tell you what it takes. A stoolie named Galooly and a 350-pound goon named Eckert who can skim enough cake from morons like George Steinbrenner and the USOC to persuade some IQ 40 metalhead to do a little non-elective surgery right between the old fibula and femur. Now that's the American dream. Well, what the hell are we in this for? We're not interested in that fabled position where nice guys finish. Nice guys get bronze or silver. And as Tanya Harding has clearly demonstrated she understands, when there's gold out there, silver sucks. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you and good night.
Tanya's ex-husband, Jeff Galooly, meantime, is... I'm fine, baby. How are you?
Good.
So who are you and what do you do?
I have my own business with a guy named Carville, and he and I are political advisors to the president.
Well, so...
That's the thing. I was being James Carville's partners. We look like being Dolly Parton's feet.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Speaking of Mr. Carville, were you at his, did you make that wedding?
I was at his wedding. It was an incredible thing. Mary is a really beautiful woman. And James is my partner. We've been in business 10 years, but let's face it, man, he is butt ugly. And finally, I asked her, I had a couple of glasses of champagne, and I finally looked at her, "Mary, I just don't get it. How did you marry this guy? What do you see in him?" And she said, "Look, I like men tall and skinny and ugly and mean, and Alan Simpson's already married."
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso,
Imus in the morning.
So in Fruit Loops, or some nitwits here in New York call them Mike and the Mad Dog. Anyway.
Jerking the fat man.
The jerk and the fat man, yeah, true. They're both in Atlanta, where the Super Bowl is. And they're here now with us, Mike Francesa and Chris Russo. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Don. How are you?
Fine. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Donnie. How are you?
I'm fine.
Boy, I'm surprised Dog's up this early, boy.
You two are not in the same room?
No, we're not in the same room. We're in the same part of the hotel.
Pardon me?
Mike is telling the whole world how he's doing 750 sit-ups a day. Yep. I know what you did last night. Can I tell him? What? Yeah, can I tell him what time your girlfriend got in last night? No, Mike, be careful.
So you flew somebody down, Chris?
No, I have some friends in town, yes. His friend's name is Kirk, Don.
Yeah.
That isn't very funny, Mike.
It's got to be like a beer deal, obviously.
The camouflage deal once again, right, Don?
Yeah. You know, one of the people who used to call your show is doing sports for us this morning, Russ Salzberg, who really sort of represents every man and every person who's ever called this radio station to talk about Ricky Henderson or the Mets or whomever.
Does Russ know who's playing in this game, Don, or not?
You do, don't you?
Who were you picking there, Russo?
You know who's playing?
Did you pick the Bills like 40-something over the Giants in 90?
Yes, I did, Russ.
Oh, okay, Chris.
Russ doesn't even know who's playing in the game, for God's sakes.
No, I don't.
Your little chickie poo with you, Chris?
No, nobody's here.
Why don't we just shut Russ's mic up? It's a bad idea for me to involve him in this, and let's stop it now before it just gets out of hand and it begins to sound like his program.
Geez, what is this, Don, a party line we have going here? God almighty, was it 95 cents a minute?
Has anything happened there that we would relate to? Any drug arrests or anything like that?
Absolutely quiet. Don, let me ask something. Do you have an affiliate in Atlanta?
No, we don't.
Don't ever get one, because this city sucks. It is the worst city in America. I would rather be on the LIE in 8 inches of snow than be here.
Well,
No Dunkin' Donuts?
Hey, Baldy, shut up.
is that the problem? There aren't any donut shops there.
Why doesn't Baldy go back on a play-by-play and rip me a couple times when I'm out of town?
No, you weren't a little sensitive about that, were you?
No, I actually thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk to first Francesca. Who do you like in this game, Mike?
Well, it's not a football game on Sunday afternoon.
They do not have the horses. Even I know that, Chris, to beat Dallas. They don't have the people. They don't have the offense.
Well, that's why they play. If that's the case, Don, why are they playing the game?
Well, because it's scheduled. They're
charging $175 a ticket. They better play something.
They sold all the advertising time. We already know who's going to win.
Mike, you're hot stuff, Mike. Mike's picked Buffalo 2 out of the last 3 years. Got smoked, and all of a sudden he's on the Cowboys, for God's sake. I picked them once. I learned my lesson. I'm not picking those guys again. They're dogs.
Who did you pick Buffalo against, Mike?
I picked Buffalo against Washington. I learned my lesson. What was the final score about that game there, Don? It was like 37-3 for God's sake.
Well, you're broadcasting your show from there, right?
Yes, we are, Don.
Yeah, I haven't felt well. I haven't been able to listen to the
Well, why not? What's the matter, Don?
Well, I have a little cold.
Well, what do you mean a little cold?
Well, that's what I mean. I have a little cold.
Well, you don't have a radio on in your house?
Well, yes, but I've been under the weather.
Has it curtailed any of your other activities?
It's always nice to talk with both of you.
How's that 10-year-old doing, Don? Okay?
Get out of here.
Just a walking bird dog. If you don't know how to do it, show you how to walk bird dog. Come on. Imus in the morning.
These boys.
Game is tied at one. Another pill. Okay? 20 of them. 400 pills he's got here.
Just read the sports if you've not any two big boards in it for you.
Patrick Ewing dropping a deuce down a well. I wish he would drop you down a well. Giving an extra 103-101 victory over the Clippers. Ewing a game-high 32 points.
3 numbers there through him.
Yeah.
Keep it in double digits so he can report the scores.
In Seattle, the Sonics went boom, dumping the Nets by 10, 102-92.
I like that the Sonics went boom.
Too. I like you to go boom. Newly named All-Stars
Come
Kenny
over here
Anderson,
and
20
eat me.
points. Derek Coleman, 12. No, get Jeffrey Dahmers to do that. In other Nets business,
Good, Lou. You did a great job. Great, Lou.
yep, forward Jason Williams scheduled to appear in court next Wednesday on charges of firing his .40 caliber semi-automatic gun in the Meadowlands parking lot.
It worked
back
out well.
on January 15th.
That worked out great. You guys want to do that again? It was really slick the way you did that.
Lou, do me a favor one more time.
You gotta put it back in the machine, right, Lou?
Load it up and aim it at Imus.
You're doing a great job, Lou. You're making Russ look great.
Yep.
It's the best of Imus clip right here.
I can screw up by myself. Album cut. Anyway.
We're ready, Russ.
Hey, Willie, look, give it the gun again, will you, please?
That's great. What, Lou, let me ask you. How did, as lame as that is, how did you even still blow it?
Williams apparently was...
Lou,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't have the answer yet for that.
I think he's ruminating.
Well, what do you think happened?
Reflecting on,
I'm setting up the next set.
And you're just not paying any attention.
No, I'm absolutely not.
Good, so you just screwed Russ. I'm sorry. Let me apologize, Russ. I'm very sorry that your lame little routine there didn't work.
Anyway,
Probably just as well.
Jason Williams apparently was shooting at a hubcap of an empty security truck 2 o'clock in the morning back on January 15th.
I like that.
Yeah, well, Jason thinks you get points for hitting hubcaps instead of the basket, so that takes care of that. On the ice, Mark Messier, the game winner with just 2 seconds left in overtime. Final score out west last night, Rangers 5, Kings 4. You'll be interested in this, man. Ray Sherman, the new offensive coordinator of the Jets.
All right.
Okay.
No, the brother of the president of the United States, Roger Clinton. Why didn't you let me know that Bo had nothing?
When Bo says he wants to get on.
That's a good point. Good morning, Roger.
Hey, man.
What's the matter?
I really did it now.
What?
I think I got a lady in trouble.
Uh-oh.
That ain't the worst of it, too.
Really?
I think I knocked up one of the girls.
No.
She lied to me, man. She told me she had her Snoopy diaphragm in. What am I gonna do? Fisher Price don't make a pregnancy test, do they?
I don't know.
I ain't ready to be a father, man. I gotta prepare, clean myself up. Because all the stuff I'm doing, I have a kid now, it's got a light bulb for a head. Hey, Deputy Haven, tail lights. He got problems with old Janet? Duh.
Well,
You know what I think?
no.
I think they should send her over to Lillehammer, have her light the Olympic torch. Figure she's got the experience and all.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't so...
She's driving this beautiful Infiniti, and it turns out that they put the wrong license plate on it.
here, Bertie, have this hot car.
Yeah. So he's got Bernie's got this. He's out on Long Beach, Long Island. He's got this brand new Infiniti with Connecticut license plates on it, and the cops out there see it parked there, and just naturally they haven't anything better to do. They run a check on it. Sure. They find out that the license plate really belongs on a white Infiniti, not a black one, right?
I could have been arrested, yeah.
You could have been arrested. What would you have said to them?
I would have said, Robin?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
How do you get the car back?
You're going to see today.
Really, officer? The dealership gave it to me.
In the morning on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
God, let's take no more phone calls from anybody. It's about the worst 8 minutes on the history of this medium. Beginning with your sportscast.
What about my phone?
Sometimes just keep it up.
2020 Sports.
Don't you introduce me?
No, not generally when we do that.
Oh, okay.
Or we would make some arrangements ahead of time.
See, you...
1.5 seconds to go in overtime. Messier picked up the loose puck and was able to slide it.
Messier scores.
That's great.
More than you can do with your radio bastard.
Oh, now you're swearing
Well, I mean, look at you. Asked me to come in, and all you hear is a pain in the keister all damn morning.
Oh, God, please.
What are you doing this weekend?
Don't worry about it. Get out of the studio.
Don't
I'm
try to
begging you to get out of the studio. Begging you.
Imus in the morning.
People in the world, certainly in this country, the governor of the state of New York, Mario Cuomo. Good morning, Governor Cuomo.
Good morning, Don Imus. How are you feeling?
I feel much better, thank you very much.
Terrific. That's good news.
I was on heavy medication after the lung operation.
Former New York Giant. He'll join us after the 7 o'clock update with Vince DeLisi. Ranger hockey on the Fan tonight. Pre-game at 10:05. Stick with us. We're back in Atlanta after this.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
Sports 28.
Sports
on the Fan. Hour number 2 is underway. Ian Eagle, Ed Coleman live from Atlanta. Super Bowl 28. We take you until 10 o'clock, and we continue to count you down to the big game Sunday. You'll hear it right here on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. I look up, there's this glare that comes off from the left side from this huge ring. And I'm wearing glasses, nearly blinds me. And joining us on the Fan right now, former Giant, a guy that so many of our listeners are familiar with. Is 31-30 as a Buffalo guy. And there it is. That's the problem with that. You are not even anywhere near Buffalo as a native, and you're still picking the Bills. I got to check your drink there, actually.
With 2020 Sports on WFAN, the home of Super Bowl 28.
66 WFAN, New York.
Sports Radio 66.
9:06 on the Fan. Our final hour is underway. Live from Atlanta, the site of Super Bowl 28. Ian Eagle and Ed Coleman with you until 10 o'clock. The Rangers and the Mighty Ducks pregame gets going on Sports Radio 66 WFAN at 10:05.
What do you think's going on at the party that we're missing?
Well, the party that everybody's at except for us.
That's it.
Well, your wife is there, probably dancing with another man.
Probably true, Ian, as a matter of fact.
And you get 3 points for it. You know, a guy that kicks a great long distance as opposed to a team that can actually move it 2 or 3 more first downs to get it to within close field goal range where you get fewer points. Doesn't seem right.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan, WFAN.
That's what's happening. This is John Minko at 2020 Sports on WFAN, the home for Super Bowl 28.
Back on the Fan. Richard Deere taking your phone calls at 718-937-6666. Susan Waldman will join us a little bit later on in the hour, but right now, a special surprise. Paul Tagliabue is trying to head off problems before they develop and get serious. That's it for us. Bill Daughtry is next, thanks to Mr. Hayes. We will be back again next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Have yourself a great week on the Fan.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
On the road with the Knicks, Russ Salzberg is here. You like hockey? I bet you do.
No, not as much as I used to.
You seem like a hockey fan.
Yeah, you do.
So you gotta be drunk punching people in the stands.
Right. Like going with my kids to a basketball game. Do you go with your kids to games?
Well, my kids are all, they're gone, so they're all.
How about Gidget? They fled. I don't want to see them.
How about who?
Gidget.
Shut up. Yeah, well, they're just two sports.
Gidget and the old timer. Yeah.
Shut up.
Gidget and the geezer.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
People don't need to know anything about my personal life.
Does she worry when you two people,
Shut
do the
up.
wild thing?
We don't do the wild thing. We're not married, and it's none of your business anyway. God.
You better not. You'd probably drop dead.
Fine.
Listen the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Bowl 28.
Sports Radio 66.
Good morning. Yes, he is in Atlanta, so I am here. He is Chris Russo. I am Bill Daughtry. 718-937-6666. A couple of guys got out of the asylum on weekend pass, so we let them come in here. Mike Hayes is working aboard. Sweeney Murdy is manning the phones. Oh, what a show this is going to be. 718-937-6666. If you're in New Jersey, get out the sandbags. Hopefully the flooding is over, but hey, I was initiated yesterday. Little water in that basement, I want to tell you. Electricity's off, no sump pumps working. Put on the old fins and swim around for a little while. We got it cleaned up, though. No serious damage. We could have been a lot worse off. Heard about Richard Neer. Good luck, Richard. Hope you get paid very well, and hope your car gets fixed. But anyway, we're here to talk sports. 718-937-6666.
Very much for your call.
1-800-937-6666 is the number to dial, push, call, or whatever. We'll be back for one more big hour. That's right, one more big hour. The first of 3 introductions of my good friend, Vincenzo Delisi. He is next for the 2020 Flash, straight up at noon on demand.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan, WFAN.
In turn, the Mink Man and Vincenzo Delisi, who is up next with the Flash, followed by Mike and the Mad Dog from Atlanta. See you tomorrow at 2 on the Fan. Buffalo 2020 Sports on WFAN, the home of Super Bowl 28. On the Fan at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. Good night aboard. Lee Steinberg's party is a location today. We have a 4-hour show for you, a 5-hour show for you, until 6 o'clock, and this will be a good one. There are a lot of heavy hitters here today, Mike. We'll have more on, and of course, the afternoon. Bob Dietl, Brian Ferguson here as we chat to you about the world of sports, and of course, the Super Bowl, which is tomorrow at the Georgia Dome. Now, good afternoon there, Michael. How are you? Dog is all pumped up, folks. We are in the Egyptian room here at the Fox Theater, which is an old, wild-looking building.
This is Bob Usler with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the home of Super Bowl 28.
Go downstairs.
This is the 50,000-watt clear channel voice of the Mets, Jets, Knicks, Rangers, and St. John. The Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Sports Radio
ESPN Radio sponsor. John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the home of Super Bowl 28.
It's a special edition of the NFL Now, live from the Hyatt Regency Atlanta with Mike and the Mad Dog. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. On the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York. It's the Super Bowl edition of the NFL Now on FAN.
Here's Thurman running right. He's in for the touchdown. He is in for the touchdown. And the Bills are on the brink of making NFL history.
Smith, the tailback. Johnston, the fullback. Here's a give to Smith. Running right. Touchdown, Dallas.
Here are your hosts, Mike and the Mad Dog.
And good morning, everybody. Mike and the Mad Dog here live with you at the Atlanta Hyatt as we get ready for another radio program before Super Bowl 28 Bills and the Cowboys. Bob Dietl, Brian Ferguson, of course, doing all the controls and the producing on this radio program. Until 12, a lot of people coming on. Peter King, Gary Myers, and George Young, the general manager of the Giants. Good morning there, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine, Dog. How you doing today?
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there fairly well.
You sound tired.
I am a little tired.
You sound tired. Would you have been last night when we finished dinner about 1?
Eddie's in charge of the dinner last night.
It's the NFL Now on the Fan.
We're back with more. And the flagship station of New York Knicks basketball.
You want to go back?
And welcome back to the Fan. It's 10 minutes past 10 o'clock. We're standing by on Mike and the Mad Dog. They'll be coming your way live from Atlanta with their special edition of a Super Bowl 28 wrap-up. In the meantime, we're going to provide you the play-by-play highlights of today's game.
Nothing can get by him. Turn it on and try it.
Mike and the Mad Dog on a fan on a Sunday night in the Georgia Dome. Good night, report. You'll take some telephone calls. Post Super Bowl 28. That's 718-937-6666. Good night, with us after, what was at times, a pretty good game. But, of course, it got out of hand late. Mike and the Mad Dog with you. Good night, with us. And, Mike, good evening to you. And I guess the two things I will say.
On being so adaptable in the face of adversity, but there has to come a point where they consider the benefits of residency in a somewhat more sedate location, like Bosnia. This wasn't the fabled big one. This was only a 6.6. So I guess they're waiting for the 12.9 before they decide it's time to relocate, huh? You know what? I have no sympathy. Every time I see news footage of a Simi Valley resident standing in the rubble of his collapsed bungalow, some Malibu show business phony surveying the charred frame of a Pacific Coast mansion, or a crying Korean in front of his freshly looted liquor store, they're all saying the same thing. What am I gonna do now?
Well,
how about move? Can't you take a f***ing hint? What's the attraction with this place? You don't have to be Nostradamus to figure out that these are natural catastrophes of biblical proportions. This keeps up. California real estate agents won't print multiple listings. They'll just copy passages out of Revelation. A lovely little fixer-upper in Apocalypse Heights. Formerly a 3-story cape, now a sprawling, burning ranch featuring 2.5 bats and 7 seals. LA's the only place where there goes the neighborhood doesn't mean blacks are moving in. It means there goes the f***ing neighborhood into the Pacific Ocean. And one can only hope that when it does, Billy Crystal will fall in. Man, how happy am I that he's not going to do the Oscars this year. Jesus, if you're going to get a celebrity to do the emceeing, at least find one with some charm or charisma and not one with a virtual personality. You know, like virtual reality looks real enough, but only exists in someone's imagination, which in this case would be Billy Crystal's. Although I have to admit, it would be kind of interesting to see how he was going to work Schindler's List into an opening musical number of his. Start saving the Jews. I'm making a list.
Fine.
Heard they offered the gig to Robin Williams, which had put the presentation of the Best Picture Award sometime around daybreak. Letterman's definitely the way to go, if for no other reason than to see him do Schindler's Top 10 list. And the number one reason to rescue the Jews from the concentration camps? Mein Kampf, mine ass.
Mike brings on the road. The next Russ Salzberg is here. Do you like hockey? I bet you do.
No, not as much as I used to.
You seem like a hockey fan.
Yeah, you do.
So you gotta be drunk punching people in the stands.
Right. Like going with my kids to a basketball game. Do you go with your kids to games?
Well, my kids are all, they're gone, so they're all.
How about Gidget?
They hate them. They fled.
I don't want to see them.
How about who?
Gidget.
Shut up. Yeah, well, they're just two sports.
Gidget and the old-timer, yeah.
Shut up.
Gidget and the geezer.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
People don't need to know anything about my personal life.
Does she worry when you two people,
Shut
do the
up.
wild thing?
If we don't do the wild thing, we're not married, and there's none of your business anyway. God.
You better not. You'd probably drop dead.
Fine.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Sports.
Well, same winner, same loser, same story. Basically, that's the sum of Super Bowl 28.
Well, I'm gonna write a little letter. I'm gonna mail it to my local DJ. Imus in the morning.
22 minutes after 7 o'clock.
Imus in the morning.
7:36 now, 24 minutes till 8 o'clock. This Imus in the morning.
Morning 2020 Sports.
Good morning, Charles. And guess what? The Bills lost Super Bowl 28, 30-13.
Bills and the boys in the Super Bowl. The best damn part was the halftime show. Hey, man.
Oh, hell.
King of rock and roll here, son.
Okay.
Screw the game. Did you see that halftime show?
Yes.
Sean Eckert in that red wig appearing with Naomi Judd.
What?
Quite a moment, Hoss. Quite a moment.
No. That wasn't Sean Eckert in a wig. That was Winona Judd, and that's not funny.
Oh, lighten up, son. There's a joke.
Fine.
A little mean, but I don't care. I know it was Winona with her mama and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, that is a great tune, ain't it?
Yes.
Love can build a bridge. I love the way to do that. Although, how'd you like to be on a bridge at the same time old Winona was going over it, huh?
Well, I would.
Be looking about like that Santa Monica freeway overpass, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Actually, I mostly looked at the butt bowl because Travis Tritt sucked.
Yeah.
Rockin' Country Sunday. What a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Hey, what's Tanya Harding going to take with her to the Olympics, I mean? You give up?
Yeah.
A little hammer. You get it? Little hammer? See, that's where they're going to have the Olympics, man. Over in Lillehammer, Norway, see? Oh, forget it.
Fine.
Hey, is that gnarly little dishwater blonde still figuring she ought to be on the team?
Well, I guess.
I guess it's okay. Although, if I'm out there skating and I see Tanya Harding heading into the stands carrying a long package that she says is window shades,
Right.
well, my jumps ain't going to be so hot because I'm wearing a f***ing bulletproof tutu, Hoss. If you're asking me, I think they ought to dump her off the figure skating squad, but then stick her in that two-man luge deal. Remember that?
Sure.
Where them two people go flying down the track, lying on top of each other on the sled?
Yeah.
How about her and her husband, that Jeff Gooley or whatever the hell his name is?
Right.
No, heck with that. Stick her on there underneath that bodyguard guy. That sled wouldn't stop till it hit Switzerland, son. 550 pounds of flying flat.
Well,
and best of all, she'd wind up carrying Sean Eckert's love child. Let's see, now that covers Tanya and the Judds. So what else is in there? Oh, I know. Weirdest thing is, man, somebody's telling me that the Beatles are going to get back together.
Yeah.
Now, forgive me for asking a simple question, but how? John's up here with a hole in his head, man.
Fine.
A Beatle reunion? Pardon me, J.D. Salinger, but I don't think so. Let me get out here, Hoss, with a little double toe loop exit tune. Goes kind of like this here. Well, a two-ton Tanya, figure skating's nuts. Hope that she falls on her road flare butt. My money's on Nancy Kerrigan, cause it looks to me like she needs a man. Yeah, Nancy, you're just a bit of a prize. Next time you spin, I'd like you to spin on this.
The governor of the state of New York, Mario Cuomo. Good morning, Governor Cuomo.
Good morning, Don Imus. How are you feeling?
I feel much better, thank you very much.
Terrific.
Somebody said to me, they said, well, I want to see you get tough with Governor Cuomo.
All right, go ahead.
I want to see anybody get tough with him. I want to see Ted Koppel get tough with him.
It's a very subtle one, but what you're really saying is he'll break your kneecaps.
I know, I'm not saying that at all.
And the next thing you'll do is you'll call me paranoid.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Who's Stephen Burke?
He's the upstate Democratic County chairman who is suggesting he's going to run against you in the primary.
Where did you read that?
I think it's in the Post this
Oh,
morning.
the Post. The Post I helped save, you know. I don't want to make a big thing of this, but I tried very hard to be good to the New York Post. And they returned that show of affection the way Lorena, returned John's version.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAM.
Howie and Suzumu skipping here and do a good show for you. We'll see you Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Don't forget Mike's play-by-play next 3 nights. You see a guy sleeping on TV, you just might see it tonight. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAM.
It's basketball.
Sports Radio 66, WFAM, New York.
6:05, and what do you say? Howie Rose with you on the fan, on and off and then on again until midnight tonight, as we will have the New York Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins coming up from Madison Square Garden in New York. Marv Albert and Sal Messina will take care of the play-by-play, and we'll get to the Ranger stuff a little after 7 o'clock when we start the pregame show. Obviously, for the next little while, we'll continue to talk about yesterday's Super Bowl, which I don't. Well, that's just about 1 hour in the books as we move towards midnight. And coming up next, it'll be the New York Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins from Madison Square Garden. Marv Albert, Sal Messina are standing by with a play-by-play. I'll get the pregame festivities started in just a couple of minutes. And then after that's over with, I'll round things out until midnight, which will include plenty of your phone calls at 718-937-6666. Vince Alisti's got the update up next.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAM.
Here now, one of of the great football players of all time. I genuinely mean that. A man who won 4 Super Bowls as a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Terry Bradshaw. Good morning, Mr. Bradshaw.
I tell you, your show's really got to be thinking, man, to be bringing me on this rascal.
Are you out of the bar yet?
I left it about 20 minutes ago, so I'm having a rough morning.
Did you ever have sex with Leslie?
Let's see, 26 times.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
Can I ask you about these games this weekend?
Sure you can. Who's playing?
It's like I'm talking to Fred.
In the morning on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN 20.
Good morning, Blanche.
Morning, boy.
What's the matter?
You got a Bovian blues figure in there. Listen up, Sammy, let me teach you something. I was going on vacation, baby, I was Miami bound. Rented me a car, Davis, soon as my plane done hit the ground. But then I stopped and asked directions from a nice young fella with a gun.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Yes, I won't be seeing Mickey Mouse, 'cause I got a bullet in the head. Set out to see the Magic Kingdom this vacation, but ended up going to Kingdom Come instead.
In the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Just walked up.
There's absolutely no way the networks will be able to compete with what I saw the other night. The Clinton Healthcare Special. There isn't a sitcom in history that could deliver more laughs per minute than the show they put on. I haven't laughed that hard since Amos and Andy were on the air. You talk about spectacle. As the camera swept over the crowd as they gave him standing ovation after standing ovation, I thought somehow I was getting the satellite feed of Wayne Newton at the Sands in Tahoe. I kept waiting for Bubba to break out into a rendition of Dankeschön. But instead, he held aloft his National Health Card, and I swear for a moment I thought he was doing an American Express commercial. Don't leave home without it. He certainly pulled together quite a guest cast for his pilot episode, didn't he? C. Everett Koop sitting next to Hillary. I guess they were going for an Amish motif. I always thought it quaint that old C. Everett took his role as former Surgeon General so seriously, he decided to grow a beard like one of the Smith brothers. And Joycelyn Elders appeared to have just stepped off the cover of the Sgt. Pepper album. And then there is the Tipper Gore collection of chins. One wonders if some of the Mexicans who stand to benefit from the NAFTA agreement might gaze upon Tipper and be reminded of the steps leading to the Mayan temples at Machu Picchu and Teotihuacan and attempt to climb them.
That'll be fine.
But when you get down to the nitty-gritty and you begin dissecting this hideously misguided idea, you discover the moral issues at stake. Does an 85-year-old man receive coverage for a liver transplant, or do we give it to someone younger and just let the old bastard kick? Will it pay to remove a gerbil from the lower alimentary canal of a homosexual?
That'll be fine.
Would rehab services be part of the package?
Yes.
And if so, would Clinton's Panic in Needle Park brother be eligible? How about cosmetic surgery? For, I don't know, old skunk hair Virginia Kelly. At the very least, she needs some prescription strength Grecian formula.
Fine.
Don't be alarmed, Ginny, but I think Pepe Le Pew died up there on your head. More after this. Well, I don't care what you think, but liberals stink, and Democrats almost as lame. All those Negroes and Jews, they give me the blues. Our country's dying and Clinton's to blame. The Nazis are wrong, and they don't belong in my conservative-minded domain. But let's call a truce, stick your head in this noose, and don't let me hear you complain. 'Cause I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those
friends with white faces. Well, I and my peers, we don't tolerate queers. Show them what an axe handle's for. You wouldn't believe what we did to this. He painted swastikas on his front door. I'm proud as can be, because the whole EIB think I could be president someday. But I'm just a man of letters, you see, and they all spell K-K-K. 'Cause I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those views away. Then we call it a day. Oh, we're mighty big on the master races. We wear slip-on sheets and pillowcases. Oh, I like friends with white faces. I like friends with white faces and a burning cross that you know chases those views away. Then we call it a day. Oh, we're mighty big on the master races. We wear slip-on sheets and pillowcases. Oh, I like friends with white faces. I like friends.
Imus in the morning, 2020 Sports. Welcome back out front.
Cleveland rocks, Cleveland rocks, Cleveland rocks, Cleveland rocks, Cleveland rocks, Cleveland.
The buzzard bites my weenie.
Imus in the morning.
You watch a massage of the American journalistic prostate by the Dean of Broadcast Journalists, Walter Cronkite.
The unprecedented media frenzy swirling around United States figure skating has placed this veteran reporter in an unpleasant position, one that I haven't experienced since a fateful day, now years past, when I was forced to put aside ethical considerations and speak out in opposition to a ruinous war in Southeast Asia. Now, duty as I see it demands that I breach those ethical bounds once again. It took nearly 3 weeks, but Tanya Harding has made an expression of sympathy toward her injured figure skating rival, Nancy Kerrigan. It was the first sympathetic comment Harding has made about Kerrigan's injury since Nancy was viciously clubbed January 6th in Detroit. Until now, Harding rejected any question about how she felt with an icy, I don't have anything to say about Nancy Kerrigan. Finally, she has bowed to tremendous media and public pressure. And I say, it's a rotten shame. Because speaking for myself, though I'd imagine for a lot of you as well, I am up to here with goody-goody Kerrigans. Figure skating Tinkerbells spinning like Waterford waifs across the rink toward their 15 minutes on the Wheaties box. Fancy Nancy in her spangled bodice and pansy is about as representative of real America as Marla Trump would be of Bangladesh. No, if we truly want to send to the Olympics an icon who represents the backbone of this country, then who better than a chunky 5'2" chain-smoking divorcee out of a trailer park who, when asked what winning gold at Lillehammer would mean to her, snapped, money. Enough already with diet-conscious ditches gliding over the ice for the sake of art. Art. Give this revered old combat correspondent a competitor who's a former latchkey kid, who spends her off hours with her butt cheeks hanging off a lumber country saloon stool nursing a Bushmills and figuring out just what it's going to take to nail down a condo in Boca Raton and a Mercedes-Benz. Well, I'll tell you what it takes. A stoolie named Galooly and a 350-pound goon named Eckert who can skim enough cake from morons like George Steinbrenner and the USOC to persuade some IQ 40 metalhead to do a little non-elective surgery right between the old fibula and femur. Now that's the American dream. Well, what the hell are we in this for? We're not interested in that fabled position where nice guys finish. Nice guys get bronze or silver.
And as Tanya Harding has clearly demonstrated, she understands. When there's gold out there, silver sucks. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you and good night.
Nora Hayden, the woman who wrote the book, How to Satisfy a Woman Every Time and Have Her Beg for More, put the microphone in front of you, pretend that it's
Do you love me? I tell the truth.
Yes.
I love you too.
Yeah.
I find you very attractive. You're very sweet. You're a nice person.
I am very
And you're very honest. And when you talked about my book before, you were very sincere when you said that it gave you the first orgasm that you gave to a woman.
Well, it doesn't work.
It does work. It works every single time.
Anyway.
And that's why the woman was so in love with you. Because you gave her the first pleasure she'd ever had.
And cash.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Have you ever faked an orgasm?
Yes.
You deceitful tramp.
Well, I'm sorry. It's out of sensitivity. That's why women fake it. It has nothing to do.
Absolutely.
Because the woman cares for the guy and doesn't want to hurt his feelings.
Fake it, don't fake it. Who cares? As long as I have one. Pass the cigarette to get out of the bed.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN. I received a letter just today.
Bruce Schnell, when he had a hit with Hey Baby, and I got to go to England with him in '62. The Beatles were the opening act on some of the shows. We palled around with those guys, and John said, show me something on the harp. People say that that's what you hear on Love Me Do, you know. So I'm not going to argue with that.
Imus in the morning.
26 minutes after 7 o'clock. Imus in the morning. It used to be when... It's the morning program.
You've got the magic touch. It makes me glow so much. It has the spell. It rings a bell. The magic touch. Imus in the morning.
I'm Tanya Harding's situation and Jeff Gilhooly and his agent. We'll talk more about that after the updates. Come on back.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
How convenient. Well, place a call. Have George tell us what the USOC, he, Harvey Schiller, or any of his pals over there have to say. Yeah, let's get Harvey Schiller as somebody.
Don't want to talk to him about being commissioner.
You know what? Never mind that. The USOC is just going to say we have no comment. We have no comment.
They can't do anything.
Let's get them to say no comment anyway. 5 o'clock. I'll join you until 6. Thanks, Susan.
Thanks, Howard.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN.
New York Knicks basketball. Friends at work.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN, New York.
8 minutes after 5 o'clock. Howie Rose with you till 6 o'clock, finishing out for Mike and the Mad Dog. And we will continue on the phones, of course, 718-937-6666. You know, the funny, or ironic thing anyway, is about the way this entire Tanya Harding thing has come down today, is that sometimes you try and look at all the intricacies, and you try and look sort of between the lines to find out what the angles might be that would either preclude her from or allow her to go to lay off the whole cramps thing, because as cynical as I was when the word first came down, I just don't think it's fair to say there's no way the guy was feeling any pain. Well, our thanks today to, of course, Susan Waldman for sitting in with us, Ed Lynch, Don Maloney, George Carl, Fred Graham, and Jeff Hughes. I'm Howie Rose. Knicks and Celtics coming up. Ian Eagle will join you right after John Clossy in the update. See you tomorrow night from the Garden. Have a good night.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN.
I'm John Clossy with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Knicks basketball.
Sports Radio 66, the fan, WFAN, New York.
6:05 on the fan. Iron Eagle taking you until 7 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. Knicks and Celtics coming up then from Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are winner of on the All-Star team, and nobody could have argued with that. Penny Hardaway has been nothing short of amazing as a first-year player. Chris Webber having a great year for Golden State. Latrell Sprewell also having a great year for the Warriors as well. He's on the All-Star team because of it. But the Magic didn't make that bad a move. They got a player in Penny Hardaway.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
The great Delbert McClinton here on the Imus in the Morning program, and now live in El Paso, Texas, my brother Fred Imus. Good morning, Fred.
Thanks.
Thanks for what?
Thanks for letting me sit through that awful record.
Why don't we play I Don't Want to Have to Marry You, the song you wrote?
Is he going to be down here at one of these holiday inns pretty soon?
Way to go, Fred.
I received a letter. Why don't you take that record and just throw it out? We got a window there you can throw it out.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
You know who you look like? You look like you had a binge. Tanya Harding's entourage. That's who you look like. You look like you'd be right there in the trailer next to him.
Yeah, I bet there's some big endorsements headed her way.
Imus in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Sports Radio.
Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of New York Knicks basketball.
If indeed he runs for president, and I bet he's going to be asked every day by every dope like me who interviews him whether he's going to run or not. He's already told me he does not want my endorsement. Senator Robert Dole. Good morning, Senator Dole.
Yeah, your track record's not too good.
Well, I did pretty good with Clinton, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, I did. Well, I don't know how you did. Then you got him elected. But
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
So how have you been?
I've been doing very well and doing a little traveling around the country. And I'm happy to have you. I guess you're on C-SPAN this morning, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I guess with Congress shut down, they need a little comedy somewhere.
Imus in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN. What is good for? Absolutely. What is good for? Absolutely. Say it again, y'all. Imus in the morning.
He'd soften up, he'd say, I don't. He'd shake his head and say, on the Fan, adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
I'm John Closey with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Knicks basketball.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan. WFAN, New York.
6:05 on the Fan. Good evening, everybody. Iron Eagle with you till 7 o'clock. Knicks basketball right here on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Coming up then, 7:05 pregame show with Susan Walbin. The Knicks are in Washington tonight looking for their 6th win in a row. The Bullets struggling there. Without Derek Coleman in the lineup throughout a season. 5 games, 6 games, that's another story. Updates next.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
Star beer. Talking religion and politics for all the world to hear. They ought to send you back to Russia, boy, or New York City one. You just want to doodle a Christian girl and you kill God's only son.
Imus in the morning.
Well, you're a drunk.
Hey, Puckett, check it out. Michael Jackson's on the news.
And Vietnam War. Colonel David Hackworth. Good morning, Colonel Hackworth.
Hi, man, you're back.
Yes, I am. What do you make of William Perry? Is he a guy that you could live with?
William Perry's a number cruncher, but he's part of the problem. So he ain't the right guy to straighten out City Hall.
Would Bobby Ray have been any good?
I think he would have been good. He probably had problems somewhere along the closet. I mean, did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Oops, funny. Somewhere in the background.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
I wouldn't pick him as defense secretary because he wouldn't have the guts. He's not mean enough. So we need somebody bad in there. How about you, Imus? Well, we had you number 2 before the short list.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
2020 sports.
Mike Breen is on a roll with the Knicks, and here for Mike Breen is Bo Dietl. Good morning, Bo.
Good morning, Don. You know, we've been doing an investigation on the Super Bowl, and we found out some information.
$50. Yes, $50 in cash.
See? That's just what I've been telling you, kids. If we get that price, we buy new football suits for everybody.
And that was Jimmy Johnson talking to the team before the game. There was definitely privatation going on in the locker room.
In other words, you brought in your own cuts here this morning, is that?
Cut this. Let's go on to the sports here, Don. The Knicks just edged out the Washington Bullets.
One of the most famous cops in the history of the New York City Police Department.
Celebrated man, yes.
One of the most celebrated, and now runs his own worldwide private detective agency, and is sitting here with a gun strapped to his...
So what are we going to do?
What's the point? All right, it's 7:30 here in New York City. It's also 7:30 in Denver, which I haven't quite figured out how they do that yet, but it's even going to be 7:30 when we go on to Sacramento next week. But anyway, here now, one of my favorite... Post. It's so funny. He's in the Washington Post this morning, and he's on...
Angel, teen angel, teen angel. Imus in the morning.
4 o'clock, Mike Mick coming up. Then we're coming back. So stick with us on the fan.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Today's outstanding with Eddie Scazzeri. Mike and I will see you Friday at 1. Enjoy your Thursday on a Fanaroni. Adios.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
They are the most... Don Closey with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Rangers hockey.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
6:06 on the Fan. Iron Eagle taking you until 7 o'clock. The Rangers and the Boston Bruins in Beantown tonight. We'll have the game for you right here on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Bruins looking for their 6th. Rangers and Bruins coming up here on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Boston looking for their 6th win in a row. New York with the highest point total in the NHL at 70. Pre-game right after the update with John Closey. This is Iron Eagle. I will talk to you after the contest. Howie Rose and Sal Messina standing by in Beantown. Little hockey tonight for you on the Fan. We'll talk about it after the game. Enjoy it in New York.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
Hey, buddy, check it out. It's Meatloaf.
You butt munch. That's not Meatloaf. That's that ice skating chick's bodyguard, Sean Dickhart.
Which ice skating chick? The one who looks like a dude? Or the one who, looks like a fat dude?
The one who got her husband to smack the other ice skating chick in the knee with a pipe.
She's cool. She, drinks whiskey and smokes cigarettes and plays pool. She is my idol.
She's cool, but ice skating sucks.
Yeah.
But at least if you let the chicks smack each other with pipes, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then, the last chick left standing on the ice wins all the medals.
Yeah, like the Royal Rumble.
But they should use better music.
Yeah, that West Side Story stuff sucks.
They should skate to, AC/DC or something.
Dirty deed, done dirty.
Or Pat Benatar. Hit me with your best shot, baby.
Yeah. Fire away.
6:34 in the yard. Richard Nixon and Joe Queenan. Both coming out a little later. political analyst Richard M. Nixon.
Yes, and thank you very much. Imus in the morning. Now, I know you're a little under the weather, Dono, and why isn't that unusual? So I'll just cut right to the chase, okay? Just a few very quick top-of-the-Nixon noodle notes. Issue 1, a synchronicity of sleeves. To paraphrase Time Magazine's definition of this weird planetary alignment or whatever that has thrust upon us the Tanya Harding, Jeff Gillooly soap opera, John Wayne Bobbitt, and Rush to Judgment Marina. Michael, you can touch this Jackson, and Eric and Lyle, those wacky California kids who took the parents without partners concept to a whole new level. I say, dump the whole lot in Mr. Jackson's hot tub and let him fight it out. Lorena can cut off Jeff's Gillooly, Michael can touch it, and Sean Eckert can slam somebody over the head with it. And before you know it, we could be rid of the entire infection. Now, to be serious, I do agree with the position you've articulated, J.D., regarding the Tanya Harding matter. They have got to let her skate at the lamp. As you underscored, it just couldn't get any better, any more dramatic than the specter of the whacker and the wacky going at it. Now, as things stand, Tanya has been convicted of nothing. I'm only hoping that she is, and they still send her. And then that they, by God, have them both skate at the same time. Line them up at each end of the rink, amend the rules to allow checking. Give them both a pair of chucka sticks, flash a big Nike Just Do It message on the TV monitors, and turn them loose. The one who's still standing at the end of their 5-minute program, well, goes over and starts filling out the L.A. Gear contracts. Okay, issue 2. United States Senator Judd Gregg of New Hampshire. I heard your interview of the senator as you debuted in Claremont, New Hampshire, Now, there's a powerful personality, hey? Well, Jesus. I found myself thinking, hey, when did Opie get elected to Congress? Who put him on the ballot? Can't be. God. Issue 3, as we're on the subject of members of Congress, another one. This Martin Hope fellow from Ohio, overheard making lewd comments about the anatomy of a TV producer who was attaching a lavalier mic to his suit jacket the other day. Now, as I understand it, Congressman Hope affected an accent and remarked that the young lady had, as he put it, the bee breasts. Now his whole career is in jeopardy. Well, I may take some heat, but in my view, it's just another case of oversensitivity keeping us from having any fun. I mean, what would she have preferred the man to say? Hey, pancake chest? Hello, button boobs? I don't think so. And now, issue 4 and final. I know you once smoked, Dono, as did I, and may be concerned about this new evidence suggesting a significant link between smoking and the risk of colorectal cancer. To be honest, J.D., I think the number of people falling into this new risk group will be very small. Really? For the sake of science, I tried it. Now, in the first place, they're hell to light. You can't see what you're doing. And half the time, I either blew it out or set my pants on fire. Not to be flippant, Dono, but believe me, that was never intended to be Marlboro country down there, okay? So you can relax. And that's a brief look at the world through a Dick's eye, Dono. The eye of Dick Nixon, of course, a former president of the United States.
Pretty good back from the Super Bowl where I was able to sneak around in the largest geek fest indoors known to mankind in the media lobby. All these guys, I'm sure you've seen this, all these guys my age in their 40s with no hair running around with $400 leather jackets in aqua and orange. I mean, why not wear a sign that says, I'm a jerk?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
What is your position, just your overall position on the Tanya Harding situation?
My bottom line position is I want her skating.
Is there any role CBS are playing in this, do you suppose? Any behind-the-scenes role?
Yeah. Other than going to these people and saying, does the word roots mean anything to you?
Sports Radio 66, WFAM.
Hey, Bennett, check it out. Michael Jackson's on the news.
Eric Spitz. Lola made it through. She fought her way through the day with just a tremendous performance.
Not bad at all.
Spitz fought his way through the day.
Mike is now, his new contract sets in, so he is gone for every weekend until Labor Day.
It's been the same contract for 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm gone until September for Sunday.
I'll keep it going tomorrow morning at 10. Until then,
and a lot of Nick talk tomorrow morning.
I'm looking forward to
Hawks.
it. Nick Hawks on a fan. We'll see you then on Sports Radio 66. Adios.
Huesler with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of New York Knicks basketball. 6:05, what do you say? Is it spring yet? Sure as heck doesn't feel like it. Howie Rose with you until midnight. In between, of course, the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks from the Omni in Atlanta. Susan will get pregame stuff started at about 7:30, and then after the game and after the postgame, I'll round things out until 12. This, I don't know if it's something biological with me or if it's just something that happens chronologically every year. The calendar hits February 1st. The Super Bowl is over, and I start, if whatever RPM, revolutions per minute your body normally runs at, let's just say, for argument, it runs at 50 when everything's at a little bit. He denied that, but you know what? I don't. And I think Kozlik probably will be even more adventurous now that he's an offensive coordinator again in Cincinnati.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
To 36, and that's what's happening. This is Bob Huesler with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of New York Rangers hockey.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
7:06. Howie Rose with you, moving towards the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. Thanks to Lula Shepard, who's bailed for the evening. Placed behind the board by the Weasel, Lisa Johnson, who covers her hand over her face in shame as though that's not an acceptable nickname. It's given her the identity of a lifetime. She loves it. She says once she can do without. She gets mail now. We know where to put it, too. Mail addressed on the envelope. Weasel, WFAN, et cetera, et cetera. Goes right in Lisa's mailbox. Everybody knows. Common knowledge. 7:07 to the phones we go. It's 718-937-6666. I don't know who's waiting here the longest. Sweetie, want to give me an executive ruling on this? Which one of these people has been waiting the longest so that we don't take their money any more so than necessary? I need the executive decision here, Sweetie. Come on now. Number 2. That's you, Andrew. How you doing?
All right, Howie, how are you?
Okay, thanks for waiting. Bob Huesler with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of New York Knicks basketball. Michelle. Hello again. Howie Rose with you at 11:07, rounding things out until midnight after a rough night for the Knicks, who made it entertaining in the fourth quarter. Although some would say the fisticuffs earlier in the game were plenty entertaining too. And so they go on to lose to the Hawks, and we will talk about that or anything else you like at 718-937-6666. I suppose if I wanted to make a lot out of nothing, I could probably jump all over one thing Dominique Wilkins said.
To the players that are coming up with their contract demands in the future.
Yeah, except that, we looked at this 3 or 4 years ago with Patrick Ewing, and they were saying, well, gee, if they pay Patrick all this money, where are they going to find money for everybody else? They found it. And the Knicks not only have Patrick Ewing's salary, but a lot of other big salaries to pay. So I don't know that that holds true.
Sports Radio 66 The Fan, WFAN.
Your current Central Park temperature is 37 degrees. Skies are mostly sunny. And that's what's happening. This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Knicks basketball.
Sports Radio 66 The Fan, WFAN, New York.
And we're back on the Fan, Sports Radio 66 WFAN. And joining us now is one of the foremost authorities on college sports in the world today, Dick Hoops Weiss. Dick, how you?
Very difficult to afford to go to a game except for baseball these days, and even hearing complaints about that. Richard here, I'll be back tomorrow at 9. Thanks to Mike Hayes. Dog is next. You stay tuned on the Fan.
Most decorated living American out of the Korean and Vietnam War. Colonel David Hackler. Good morning, Colonel Hackler.
Hi, man. You're back.
Yes, I am. What do you make of William Perry? Is he a guy that you could live with?
William Perry's a number cruncher, but he's part of the problem. so he ain't the right guy to straighten out City Hall.
Would Bobby Ray have been any good?
I think he would have been good. He probably had problems somewhere along the closet. I mean, did I say that?
yes, you did.
It's somewhere in the background.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the Fan.
I wouldn't pick him as defense secretary because he wouldn't have the guts. He's not mean enough. So we need somebody bad in there. How about you, Imus? Well, we have you number 2 before the short list.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning at 10 o'clock. This is John Minko. Central Park temperatures 40 degrees. Skies are mostly sunny. And that's what's happening. This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Knicks basketball. Indeed. Today, nice to have you with us at 718-937-6666. Two-way sports talk telephone number. As we talk to you about the world of sports until 1 o'clock today, about Stevie Cohen and Mike Hayes across the way. A couple of things to discuss. We'll get the hour. Well, if that's the case, why didn't Carson hire one last year when he was told to hire one? Now, why didn't he go hire one on Tuesday, the day after the season, or 2 days after the season ended? There's a little damage control here with Carson right now. I don't think Salzberg outlined his plans, but I'm not too sure if Carson was so enamored with an offensive coordinator. Coming back after the top, so don't go away.
Russ Salzberg, he's the man.
I'm on the line now with Hal McDonald. Mostly cloudy, and that's what's happening. This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Knicks basketball. Hour 2, nice to have you with us. Christopher Russo on a Saturday here in New York City. It's 718-937-6666, two-way sports talk. Telephone number. Rangers have the weekend off. They, of course, will play the Capitals on Monday at the Madison Square Garden. Devils last night a 5-2 over Ottawa. Islanders tonight will be at today. Maybe in your life. I mean, you got to do something with her at night.
Well, usually she has homework. She does.
Don Imus, good to see you back here on the Fan. We'll come back on Sports Radio 66 right after this. Johnny and Sandy Hook, let's say hello this morning. John, long time no chat. Good to have you aboard today. What's up?
Because on Saturday night, you do your homework. So I think there has to be sort of a marriage made there with what reality. So have a good weekend, Christopher.
All right, John, you take care. A little philosophical lesson from John and Sandy Hook. There are worse things. Coming back after Guess Who's Here. Vinny DeLisi on the Fan. Wow. Back in the set. Right now, and that's what's happening. I'm Vince DeLisi with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Rangers hockey. Together, good on your board. It's been a good show today on a Saturday with Hubie Brown and Rick Pitino amongst your guests. 718-937-6666. Christopher Russo is with you on a Saturday as we move into the afternoon hours as we chat world of sports. We got a lot of things going on. You got the Knicks, you got the Elliott Horry deal, and you obviously have the Derek Coleman stuff. You have the Rangers, and as far as the winter sports seasons, this is the time. St. John's is a big one tonight against Providence. A team that has obviously done a very some of the people you're down with the Yanks, Boggs and Buck is 105 to your Yankee fan. I'm sure a lot of folks out there. Never been. I'm not saying throw her Tanya Harding in jail. I'm saying throw her off the Olympic team. And if she's innocent, then what does she do? That's tough. They were innocent in 80, they didn't go. If she's innocent, she sues the Olympic Committee, and then they lose another $25, $26 million. Good job, Stevie Cohen and Joan Chin. We'll see you Monday at 1. Enjoy your weekend on the Fan. For New York Knicks basketball.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's 1:04 here on the Fan. I am Susan Waldman down at the Yankees Fan Fest, and this is quite a sight down there. I bet there's tens of thousands of people here standing in line. All the Yankees are here, past and present, and I guess over at Shea is one Howie Rose. How are you there?
Only one, Susan. How you doing?
Well, it'd be the
New York Rangers hockey.
If you suffer this right off the bat because I have